We're going to learn some very basic but extremely useful features for Microsoft Word. The first thing we're going to look at is the styles. On the Home tab, over here, these are the styles. The heading 1, heading 2. See how when I put my cursor over the style, things change the way they look. So now you can make a document look the way you want it to look without using the styles. And a lot of people do that. Like, for example, if we want the title of this to be centered and bold, we could select it, go up here and center it, over here and bold it. Maybe we want a different font. And so, you can control the font over here. And so you could make this look the way you want it to look without knowing a thing about styles. But we're going to motivate you to show you the great benefits of using these styles. Another way you can make things look the way you want without using styles, and the reason I'm pointing out what you could do without the styles is so you'll know what you can replace with the styles. If you want 5-space indentation, you can space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could go through each paragraph and space 5 times. You could tab, and we see all different ways that people make things look the way they want them to look. Now, if you use the styles, we're going to show you what all benefits you get. Let me point out first, this is just a bunch of Latin text dumped in here, the lorem ipsum generator we used to just put fake text in, so we'd have something to work with here with real headings, because we need the headings to teach you about styles. Now, normal is usually set, and then the other styles are based on normal. So it's a good idea to not change normal. We're going to show you how to change the styles and what you get for it. So let's say you want to use Times New Roman because you're writing something and you're supposed to use Times New Roman. Narrative is what we recommend you use for your paragraphs. And this is already set in Times New Roman, but let me show you how to set this up the way you want it. And we have those 5 spaces in there that I put in. And we'll take those out in a few minutes. But if you right-click on the style up here, one of your choices is modify. And like I said, don't modify normal because you'll start a chain reaction. See how this says this style is based on normal? So just leave normal the way it is and then let's change this narrative to be what we want it to be. We want it to be Times New Roman, which it's set on, 12 point, left justified, single spaced, and so this looks pretty good for how we want this. We could change anything. If we want it to be indented, I guess instead of using the spaces, under format down here, let's go to format the paragraph, and we just tell it first line indent by however you want it to indent, 1/2 inch. And here we can put space between paragraphs. Let's go ahead and put space between our paragraphs. Single spacing, you could make it 1.5 lines, whatever you want. And then OK and OK. And see, then it just changes it. So if we go through and select the text, and that's a heading, so let's quit there and just click up here and say make it narrative. It will change it to that. So let's go through and see, I'm going down to the next heading. And then those are references, so I'll just leave them. And now one of the nice features here, if we then find out that this is supposed to be double spaced, we don't have to go through and select it all. We just modify, And over here, go to paragraph and line spacing, choose double, and it just double spaces everything that you have designated to be narrative. Now that's a nice feature if you're doing something where it's dictated what something has to look like, or you might want to change it to, you want it to fit on X number of pages. And this gives you a way to just easily play around with changing how things are formatted. But that's not the best feature of all. Now we're going to format the headings using the styles up here. And they'll look exactly the same way that they would look if we did it by hand, by selecting them and then going over here and doing what we wanted. But the benefit of doing it using the styles, not only can you change them all at once just by modifying the style, but up here on the menu is View. If you go to View and choose Navigation Pane, see here where you can put a ruler on. This is the ruler, which you can turn that off, turn it on. Grid lines, which I don't know why you'd want them, but the navigation pane. Now see, when we click navigation pane, over here is a navigation pane, but you don't see anything in it. So you might think, well, that's a waste, but it's not a waste if you're using styles. This is extremely handy. So let's put our navigation pane on under View, show me the navigation pane. Now go back to Home and let's select this and make this heading 1, and see, it's going to start to outline your paper for you. And find heading 2. This is a heading 2. And if we didn't want this to look like this, we could modify heading 2 by right-clicking on it and change whatever you want. And see, it's based on normal. That's why we don't ever change normal, because you'll start a cascading of everything changing. I'm going to leave that for now. Project idea is heading 2. And see how they're showing up over here? Heading 2. I don't think I have any heading 3s in here. But if we did have heading 3s, other references are heading 2. Let's put a third heading in here just so I can illustrate it. Project approach. Let's say we have heading 3, first approach. And let's put a second approach, because I don't think you can have one without having 2. And see, it doesn't show up over here when it's the narrative style, so choose it, and I don't like how that looks. I think it's blue. So I'll come up here, get on it, and if I see, they both look like that. Well, let's right click on it and modify it. I think it is blue. Let's make it black. That's the wrong font. Let's make it Times New Roman. And let's underline it. And see, now it will change all the heading 2s in the paper to look like this. So if you're writing a big paper, you don't have to go find them all. You can just change them with one right click over there. And now over here, this is interactive. So if you've got a big paper that you've written, or a very large document, you can see the outline over here, but you can also jump to different places in it by clicking. And if you've got a large document, this is extremely handy to be able to see it like this. You don't have to keep scrolling to look for things. You can also make sure that your headings are the right levels, because you can see it. You see the outline over here. And there's one more great benefit of using those styles. What did I just do? Let me go to the top. Well, here's another thing that you may not know, you click there. I want to put a table of contents above this on a different page. I don't need to hit enter, enter, enter to move this to the next page. I can go up here to insert and insert a page break. Then that gives me a page break, so it pushes on the next page. And you should always do that if you want to force where a page stops rather than hitting enter repeatedly. Because if you hit enter repeatedly, when you change something, suddenly everything's in the wrong place. So we want to generate a table of contents. Got myself a page by entering a page break. And now up here on the menu, I go to References. And now because I'm using styles, the computer knows what my headings are and it knows where they are. So it can make my table of contents for me. So I can go up here to Table of Contents. It asks me what I want it to look like, gives me some choices, and you can control the choices even more by using options. But let's just put this in. And see, it knows what all my headings are. It knows what level they are. It knows what page. And if we modify this, if we were to edit this more, let's do that. Let's put a page break in here just for the heck of it. Insert a page break. Okay, it pushed it on to the next page. So now my page numbers are all wrong, but I can tell it, update the table for me. And it asks, you want me to update the entire table, which we would want if we added more headings, but we didn't. So we just tell it, no, update those page numbers for us. And it just does that for you. And I guess I put it on the same page as I was on this side of the page break. But let me show you how to fix problems like that. On the Home tab, this little is called a paragraph marker. If you click on that, it shows you all the styles. See, I got my page break up here. It shows you all the formatting. I need my page break in here. Insert page break. See how it's good? Oh, there's those 5 spaces that I put in before I've used the style. So let me take those out. And see, there's every time there's an enter, you see one of these, there's a page break. So when you turn these on, you can control, it lets you see everything about the styles, which is sometimes you need to do that to fix something. And you just go back to Home, click it again, and turn them off. And I'm going to show you how to add a new style. For these references, we want a hanging indent. And there may be one already built in here, but if there's not, we can make one. So let's put it on normal. Or maybe we want to base it on narrative. Now let's base it on normal, like everything else. There's a little arrow down here. If you click on that arrow, it opens up a pane for you for the styles. And down here at the bottom is new style, where we can make our own new style. So if I click that, I'm going to name the style References Hanging, because we're going to make a hanging indent. Style type, based on normal, we want it to be Times New Roman. We want it to be 12 because the rest of the paper is 12. And then here on format, let's choose paragraph. And for the indentation, we want a hanging indent. And space after, but not before. Let's just see what that looks like. That's going to look like that. Then we can just select all our references. And here it is. Just choose it and click on it. And then makes our references a hanging indent for us. And now let's say you just got word that this document needs to be single spaced. Well, what you do is you go up to narrative, right click on it, modify, and I think you can single space right here. Let's see if that works. Otherwise, you go to format. There's always more than one way to do everything. Yeah, that's single spaced for us. So it just takes care of the whole paper for you.